rewarding excellent contribution and performance and sharing knowledge in the corporate world. Inside Business Africa organized IBCA Opal Business Leaders Award ceremony recorded unprecedented success. Mazi Sam Ohabua, MON OFR, speaks on adapting to change. We have a report. Engineer Dominic Okafor, Managing Director, Chief Executive of Jukaro Nigeria Limited, is 50. While celebrating this milestone, he speaks with Inside Business Africa on the achievement and integrity as key drivers of business. Plus, report from Fair Trade organized agro-food and plastic print exhibition held in Lagos. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Hello and thanks for joining us. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. My name is Kenneth Odushola Stevenson. And like you may have heard on the highlight, we'll be talking about that particular event that took place in Lagos recently, Inside Business Commendation Award and Outstanding Project and Leaders Award, where several organizations, including Stallion Group, an organization that has put in over 60 years into the Nigerian corporate world, was also celebrated and rewarded. Mazi Sam Ohabua presented an outstanding paper at that event. You want to stay tuned for that. But before all that, let's take some messages. We'll come back with the details. Welcome back. It's still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Thanks for staying with us. Indeed, the Inside Business Commendation Award and Outstanding Project and Leaders Award may have come and gone, but the content of that particular event is still generating a lot of debate, especially the topic, adapting to change, people, process. In fact, it's a Harvard Business School kind of paper, and every single corporate Nigerian should have a copy of that document. Let's present that particular event, and in this special report, you get to also see some of the corporate Nigerians that were rewarded for their outstanding contribution to the development and the economy of Nigeria. The 2017 edition of the prestigious Inside Business Commendation and Outstanding Projects and Leaders Award held recently in Lagos with the theme Adapting to Change, Reflecting on People, Process and Technology had Mazi Sam Ohabua, OFR, MFR as guest speaker. Speaking against the backdrop of the theme, Mazi Sam Ohabua emphasized the need for organizations to see beyond the challenges of today and innovate to stay competitive.
Times change, people change, situations change, relationships change. The only thing that is constant is what? Change. Change is constant. Thus, change is inevitable and is the only thing that is constant. Now, we all have experienced change in our lives, in our businesses, in our careers, and that change is ongoing and continues to happen. There are what we call change drivers. What are the things that are driving change in our environment, in our businesses, in our work? First is what I call the natural cyclical occurrences as above. You know, the cyclical occurrences, time to laugh, time to cry, the day, the night, the moon, the sun. Those are natural occurring cyclical occurrences which are predictable. They are predictable. You know when the night will come, you know when the day will come, you know when there will be winter, you know when there will be summer, and so forth and so on. Those natural predictable occurrences are things we can deal with much more easily through anticipation and planning and hedging. You know, there's another word from the good book that says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, and consider his way, who having no overseer or leader, gather his food in summer. So the food he's going to eat in winter, he gathers in summer. because he knows in winter he can go out to forage for food. So predictable situations and changes, you can hedge against them, you can plan against them. For example, we know we shall not grow old by the grace of God. So we need to plan for aging. We need to plan for the time of retirement and so forth and so on. Even though, despite the predictability and cyclical nature of this, some people still don't plan. Some people just suddenly find that they're out of job and they have problems with maintaining their quality of life and so forth and so on. But the more troublesome ones are the unanticipated natural occurrences like earthquake, like flood, like volcanic eruptions, etc. Those ones are unpredictable. You never know when they will come, and they can disrupt the best plans anybody has made. The third driver is what we call man-made changes. And those ones are really the troubling ones. The changes that man brings to society. Some of those changes are positive and we're happy. Some of them are negative and they cause us pain. But we still have to live within that context of the change. Whether it causes pain, whether it causes joy, you still have to live and survive through it. Some of the man-made changes are, as I show on the next slide, you have political changes. Today it is APC. Yesterday it was PDP. And they come with their different nuances and political ideologies and perspectives. And they cause change in the environment. There are those who have lost their jobs because they were PDP. There are those who have lost their businesses because the businesses were offered by the last government, and now the new government of a new party disqualifies them from that business. Those changes do occur that are political, and yet we still have to survive. Every businessman will know how to survive whether there's a new party or an old party. If you don't know how to adapt and survive, then your business will be disrupted because a new party is in power. But most of the things that affect us is economic, especially for businessmen and career people. It's economic. Currently, we know that we have had years about one decade of growth, where our annual GDP growth was growing at about 7%. And since middle of 2014, we have begun to go down, to the extent that last year we ended up negative growth, minus 1.51% GDP. We had 4 quarters of consistent decline. And how did this occur? They occurred because of policies, actions and inactions of players, economic players in the economy. And those are the kinds of changes we're dealing with. For a long time, many companies in 2016 had to contract. Some companies had to close down. And those that didn't close down, they had drop in their sales and in their volume. Even there was a growth in unemployment. Everybody felt it. If you are not losing your job, your salary was late to come, some 6-7 months late. And even housewives had problems with their home take-home allowances or housekeeping allowances, no longer get them any allowance to maneuver. Even my pastor in my church also complained that things were challenging. So everybody was affected by the economic contraction that came from, first of all, some circumstances, the preparations we ought to have made to hedge against that. This country has gone through series of boom and bust. And I mean, the last time this recession came, I said, thank God I'm no longer CEO. Because I was CEO and at positions where I had gone through the problem we had in 82, the economic crash in 82, and I was there when we had difficulties in the 90s, and up to the global economic crisis of 2008 to 2010, I was CEO. And I've been through several cycles. By 2015, 2016, I am not CEO, and I'm happy because that saved me from some of the stresses CEOs and people in active business have faced in 2016.
Popular Foods and Meals Limited, a member of the Stallion Group of companies with over 60 years of making meaningful contributions to the Nigerian economy, received the IBCA Opal Business Leaders of the Year Award in the Agri category at the colorful ceremony and was received by the Group Director of Stallion Group, Mr. Harpreet Singh.
Good evening, everybody. And my sincere apologies, I was slightly late. And I didn't want to speak earlier because I was just trying to get a grasp of what's really happening. And I would like to thank the organizers to create a platform like this where every investor, every producer is acknowledged. More importantly, the whole change, what we were talking about, is right from the Darwin's theory of evolution. So what Darwin's theory of evolution says, there's a process of natural selection. Either you adapt to the change or you get eliminated. Period. Nature is very crucial like that. So for us, when we do some introspection to ourselves,
Speaking against the backdrop of the theme of the event, adapting to change while reflecting on the position of Stallion Group in Nigeria, Mr. Singh, who also used the opportunity to thank the organizers of the event and for the award, has this to say.
Popular Farms is one of our companies who deals mainly into agriculture. I am an Indian by descent, but a Nigerian by naturalization. So that's why I can only urge you to buy products which are proudly made in Nigeria. We came to Nigeria as traders about half a century ago, to be precise 60 years. And this is a country which has truly given us, the group, a home away from home. So there's no other country where I can go to. This is my country. Madam Esther Olufumlayo, one of our patrons. Mount Olive, one of our very, very good patrons. I see Madam Ifoma Okoli, one of our very good patrons. They have been not only our patrons, but our partners in success. And that's how the company module works. Being partner in success and being partner in progress. That's how we inculcate our change. Thank you very much for being platform. Thank you.
The General Manager, Agric Business, Stallion Group, Mr. Amit Kumar, speaks on the Stallion position in the agric sector value chain in Nigeria.
And it's agric company which produces local Nigerian rice in Nigeria. As you know that Stallion has been engaging in agric sector in a big way since last 8 or 9 years. In the course, we visualize that there is going to be a change in the market. Like from 2009, we have started establishing our rice mills. Currently we have 3 rice mills in Nigeria, in Kano, in Lagos, and in Benue. Kano rice mill is the biggest rice mill in Nigeria, where we produce almost more than 1 million bags of rice every year, and that is all Nigerian rice. It's not only producing rice, we have been into the backward integration, which is very important to make the farmers sustainable, economically viable industry like agriculture. So we have been into backward integration. We have established 12 collection centers, which are even known as aggregation centers in Nigeria. And these are spread into 9 states currently. They are 12 in number. From the Innovation Center, we try and develop a model whereby farmers know the latest technology in rice farming. They know the latest technology in post-harvest management, whereby the losses, storage losses, logistic losses are minimized or rather eliminated per se. So from that education center, we also do lot of demonstrations, lot of training. We distribute inputs on highly subsidized rates. In the inputs, we distribute fertilizers, certified seeds. We distribute booklets on advanced rice farming. So these are our main focus on the backward integration. And we've been sure that whatever we do it without adding any cost. And in real sense, without adding any cost, and in turn, it makes more productivity of per unit of area. And that is the point, no cost technology. Yeah, you see, it's a good effort by IBCA, that is Intelligent Minister Award. We are really thankful. We are thankful to the federal government, to the state government, Ministry of Agriculture, and for their patronage, for their guidance. And that is all the stakeholders, including the farmers, who are the real stakeholders in the entire value chain, and then the aggregators. So yes, we are making it possible to make our Nigerian nation self-sufficient in rice production in coming years. The change is a word which is very very big in what we discuss. We are adapting to change. That's why you see that we are now totally into domestic rice production, and we are producing in a big way. We have brought in the backward integration concept in the market. We are opening new innovation center. We are going to the doorstep of the farmers, from where farmers can sell their produce to us. And we do not want them to rely on the logistics. We want to cut their cost. We want to provide them facilities. And we have sensed that this change is very much required for the development of the rice production in Nigeria. And that
we want to say a very big thank you and congratulations to all the awardees at that particular event. And most importantly, we want to say a very big thank you to Mazi Sam Ohabua. We will still be serializing that particular paper on Inside Business Africa. Indeed, the content of that particular presentation is very important indeed. And if you need a copy of it, just get in touch with us. We'll be able to send a copy. We have his permission to share this particular paper with with Nigerians, especially people in the corporate world, because it is very, very important indeed. When we come back right after this commercial break, we'll talk about this personality that is celebrating 50, and indeed he spoke with Inside Business on the issue of integrity in business. Stay with Inside Business. We'll be right back right after this commercial break. Welcome back. It's still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Thanks for staying with us. Engineer Dominic Okafor is the Managing Director and Chief Executive of Jokaro Nigeria Limited, an organization operating in the corporate Nigeria and indeed operating in the areas of engineering, procurement and construction, and also the supply and management and maintenance of generators and many other products relating to engineering. And indeed himself is engineer, and that's no wonder. Recently, engineers know how to do it well. He recently celebrated his 50th birthday in Port Harcourt, and indeed Inside Business Africa decided to bring him forward to speak to us on the company's offerings and many more, especially on the issue of integrity. Let me bring in Engineer Okafor to Inside Business Africa to tell us some of this particular milestone and the event that has heralded him into celebrating 50 years. Engineer Okafor, thank you very much for joining us on Inside Business Africa.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let me go straight to my first question and ask you, 50. That's the golden age. How do you feel about this? And also, if you want to also talk about the journey so far in coming into 50, in coming into becoming 50, and also tell us about your organization, Jokaro Nigeria Limited, and its offerings.
Well, I feel very happy. I feel very grateful to God for giving me this opportunity, because I was reading somewhere and they said that the life expectancy for men in Nigeria is about 47 or so. So having gotten to this, I thank God.
Well, I know you are an engineer, so if I'm going to be asking you that, what actually attracted you to this industry, maybe it will be an understatement. But indeed, so many people are engineers, pharmacists, they found themselves in banking and all of that. What actually attracted you to the area of business that you're doing now? Is it because you're an engineer, or is it because you believe that is where your calling is?
Will I really be? Well, I can't really say it by chance. I can't say it by chance, because I was already in the industry, but I wasn't feeling well challenged. I think the job I was doing in John Holt wasn't really challenging me enough. I felt I needed to, be more active. I needed to get involved in, So after like 7 years then in John Holt, I knew, of course, I knew I had a bright future, but I felt I would be able to, utilize my skills and more if I run my own organization.
Well, let's look at your professional career as an engineer, and also looking back at your life and time and what you have put into life. Really, are you truly satisfied with what you've done so far, especially from the corporate world and your personal life? Indeed, I mean, we used to say, yes, celebrating 50 is an achievement, but then will you say totally you're happy? And if you want to do some things differently at 50 now, and you need to change a few things, are there something you may need to change to do differently?
Well, it's been interesting. It's been interesting because I didn't go into engineering because by accident. It is a profession I had always liked. I'll tell you honestly, while I was in secondary school, people were already calling me engineer, because it's has always been a career that I wanted to go into. I said right from time, of course, I was very good in mathematics and sciences. I was quite good, and I used to look up to a lot of engineers then, and it made me to practice it, because going into the practice is also another interesting. Some people will say, oh, it's a dirty. I give you an instance. When I was in Warri, this girlfriend of my friend, they came to visit me in Warri, and he saw me in my coveralls. We were carrying out the overhauling of an engine. Of course, I was with my technicians. When he came into my office, he said, oh, Dom, this is what you went to Nsukka to read. I was expecting to come and see you in the Rock office and all that. And I said, well, I mean, in practice, this is what you see.
I'm going to talk about the issue of integrity, because one of the things that's lacking in the corporate world mostly is integrity. But we know from our point of view here on Inside Business that integrity is one of the key drivers of business, because where you leave your reputation is also very important. Therefore, how do you ascribe, first of all, define integrity as you may want to know it, and how do you ascribe that to doing the business that you are doing, and how do you think integrity is so important, and why do you think it's so important in the corporate world, and especially when you are running an enterprise like Jokaro Nigeria Limited, for instance?
Well, of course, there's a book that I read. He said, integrity in business, integrity is all you've got. Of course, integrity is very important. It's the indispensable part of the business. You see, I'm somebody that believes in organic growth. You know one client today, tomorrow you know another one. You see, one of the things that gives me a lot of pleasure is when people, when I get referrals. I give you an instance. Some more than 10 years ago, shortly after I started, like about 5 years into this my private practice, so to say, then my office was down the road somewhere they call him Bog. A man came, immaculately dressed, was looking for Dom. I took him to my office. He never told me who introduced him to me or who referred him. Then we could hardly afford generators to display. most of the time, of course, you pay, we get for you and all that. It was later, when we have done a couple of business, that he told me that his friend, somebody introduced him, to us in London when they went for fast food conference and all that. And I felt so happy, because you see, before you refer somebody, there must be some element of satisfaction, and of course integrity will also come to play. So integrity is very important in every business, and I must tell you honestly, it has helped us so much. It has helped this company. It has also helped me as a person.
Well, I'm going to talk about a very important issue here. For instance, you studied an engineer, you study engineering, and most importantly, maybe you will be influenced by someone, or maybe that's a role model that you have. Let's be on a lighter mood now. Seriously, do you have a role model, or what actually, who influenced you? Do you have anyone that you actually look up to and say, look, my friend, this is the way I want to be? Because you see what, the friends you keep will also define who you are tomorrow, and that's why actually I'm asking this question.
Well, like you did mention that I'm a Rotarian. Yes, Rotary International is an organization that has influenced my life for good. Like, of course, that Rotary International is an international service organization whose main objective is to bring business leaders and community leaders to render services, humanitarian services to the world, and to also enhance international peace and understanding. Of course, it's not political, it's apolitical, and it's also not religious. It's also very gender friendly. It was founded in 1905 by a young man then, a lawyer called Paul Harris, in faraway Chicago in the US. I joined this organization in the year 1996, when as a young engineer I went to do business with a company called Geodetic Survey in Warri. Then the financial controller of that company then, who is now a past district governor of Rotary Club, and who is also the Ovie of Ogara, His Royal Highness Chief Nobu Eshemeto, he saw me and felt I was a material for Rotary, because in Rotary you don't just go and become a member, you have to be invited. Somebody has to see you and say, oh, this guy has a Rotary material, he invites you. So he invited me. I was inducted in Rotary Club of Efuru then in 1996, and of course, as I got transferred by my employers to Enugu, I joined Rotary Club of Ekulu. When I was brought to Port Harcourt, I joined Rotary Club of Port Harcourt. And let me add that Rotary Club of Port Harcourt is the oldest club in District 9140.
Now, my last question, so to speak, if I have another one, I will ask, but it will be on the issue of your dream for the engineering industry. Yes, currently we are seeing so many, foreign products and foreign personnel dominating the engineering world, and it's unfortunate that this is what is happening right now. And for me, I believe that is not the way it should be. And some of us want to see when homegrown. The federal government recently launched a very important business plan to ensure we think Nigeria and do Nigeria. So, what is your dream for the industry? And then in driving into that's your dream. Let's take it straight to the issue of your organization, Jokaro Nigeria Limited. In the next 5 years, where will you want to see Jokaro Nigeria Limited, and what do you want it to be doing at that time?
Well, of course, in the next 5 years, I will want to see a Jokaro that is much, much more consolidated in terms of our businesses, in terms of, okay, right now we are currently building our corporate head office. Of course, we are going to be in our corporate office is going to be in our own premises, in our own complex, and we're also going to see a Jokaro that has more affiliations to more international reputable companies. Right now we do, but it's going to be such relationship will be more than what we have today. And of course, we are continuously trying to improve ourselves in everything that we do, so that we can actually meet whatever international how do I put it, to get to a world class, because sometimes, you know, the world is a global village. There's nothing. We want a company that wherever it goes globally, we can meet whatever evaluation. I mean, anybody tries to, we should be able to meet whatever pre-qualification as we are subjected to.
Tying down to your plan in going forward, have you been able to work within the vision of the company, and how have you been able to manage that in relation to what is going on in the market, so to speak?
Well, of course, the dream for this industry, the power, like I tell people, I remember in 2012, my company exhibited in OTC. OTC is Offshore Technology Conference they do every year in Houston. We had a stand there on the Nigerian Pavilion. When then the MD of NNPC, the one that is being, you know, told by EFC, when he came to my stand, to our company stand, oh, when you saw generator, he said, no, we don't want generator. I told him no. Even overseas, there are still generators. There are still some remote areas where the grid, national grid, cannot get to. And moreover, even in the developed world, in Europe, in the US, there are always provision for standby generator. Anything can happen to the national grid. There could be, you know, there could be natural disaster or whatever, where the national grid will go off. Maybe somebody is in the theater being operated upon. There should be an emergency generator that can, you know, start up and give power. So I'm looking at Nigeria whereby if the government of the day can do the right thing, what do I really mean by doing the right thing? Putting the square pegs in square, you know, holes. Not using people because they are affiliated to a particular political party and giving them some very, very important and strategic, you know, sectors of the economy to manage. That is actually the major problem we're having in power. Sometimes people say, oh, it's you guys that in generator business that's making power. No, it is not true. I say it with every sense of responsibility. I know how many times we have bidded for some jobs and they will tell you you did not pass technically. And what you see, they give these project jobs to people whose company were registered like yesterday. And of course, how can they perform? Is that they sublet it to somebody else? Of course, by the time they say the project, the person that eventually gets the job won't have enough money to execute it. Sometimes they never execute it at all. That is one of the problems that power has not actually stabilized in Nigeria. Not because we don't have people that can make it work. Look at all the people they privatize our companies to. What are the know-how that they have? Some of them don't have any know-how. They actually were able to, you know, pay the license fee or whatever. Some of them don't have any good business plan to make these things to work. So the moment Nigeria starts to do the right thing in terms of giving some of these responsibility to the right people, I tell you honestly, power stabilizing in Nigeria will be, you know, will just be like that.
Well, Engineer Okafor, I want to thank you very much for actually speaking with us on Inside Business Africa for today and talking about your offerings and celebrating 50 years. And we congratulate you, most importantly, that you have reached this milestone, and we believe that you still have a lot more to contribute to the engineering sector, corporate Nigeria, and indeed Nigeria in general. Congratulations, and thank you again indeed for spending your time with us on Inside Business Africa.
Thank you so much.
When we come back right after this commercial break, we'll give you a brief as to what happened at the event, Agro-Food and Plastic Print, that took place in Lagos, organized by Fairtrade. Stay with Inside Business. We'll be right back. Fairtrade is an organization that has been partnering with Inside Business Africa to deliver some of the best exhibitions in Nigeria. The other time you also saw Africa Built, where Inside Business Africa was present. The last edition in the series was the agro-food and plastic print, a very important and expose on the agricultural sector and also the plastic and packaging industry. Inside Business Africa was at the opening ceremony, and here's the report, and including some of the clips from what happened at that event.
How do I feel? I feel so excited. I feel so happy. I feel blessed. I give all the glory to God, because it's not by our making, it's the making of the Lord. The journey started with my father, late Babashala Benson, a rare gentleman. He was really passionate about his business. He started 36 years ago. So upon his passing was when I took over. We have actually moved from, when they say growth, Instant Cleaners is the true definition of growth. Because when a baby is born, a baby doesn't crawl immediately. Instant Cleaners is very unique. As I said, we started 36 years ago. People we actually started with, they're no more. And some other industries, the dry cleaning industries today, Instant Cleaners give birth to them one way or the other. Even the machines they're using today presently are products of Instant Cleaners, because we are the sole representative of Renzachi in West Africa.
Well, that's about all we have time for on Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. But before I go, I'd like to remind you that Inside Business Africa, in partnership with CED Magazine, is putting together a very important report on the environment, connecting with nature. On June the 5th of 2017 will be the World Environment Day. We'll be broadcasting a very important edition on that day, and we're talking to operators and also professionals to share ideas and opportunities. It's been Kenneth Odushola Stevenson presenting Inside Business Africa. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.